here from Stampin'Up. Welcome back to my craft room this week. I am super excited to have you back here. I've been playing with this fun technique called the fractured card technique, or faux shutter technique is also what it's known by. Can you believe it? I've never ever in over the 20 years I've been making cards ever made this technique. So it's a new learning experience for me to do. And I was at a Stampin'Up event a couple of weeks ago, and last week I showed you one of the techniques that we were inspired by, and one of the card shares that came my way was these faux card technique. No, sorry, fractured card technique. And I asked the lady, how do you do this? And she said, it's so easy. And oh my gosh, it was. So I want to show you how to do the fractured card technique using whatever you have. And of course, I have made it Christmas, but I'm going to show you at the end what the lady's card looked like. And I'm going to show you a different way to do it. My very first one, which I noticed I had made a bit of a boo-boo, but hey, it was my first one. So, shall we get started? What you're going to need is a card base, and you're going to need either design series paper, or in the case that I'm doing for this project with you, I have embossed a piece of basic white with the Stars at Night hybrid folder. Then you're going to need a focal point. Now, you're going to need a square, whether you have a square die or whether you cut a square die. And this is what makes this project so amazing, is you don't have to have a die, you don't have to have a punch. If you can cut a square, you can make this. And it also needs 1/4 inch strips. So very simple card to make. So I want to show you, I want to reproduce the one I've made here. It just means I've got one less Christmas card to make. I think I've got about 30 that I have to make. So every time I make you a Christmas card, there's method to my madness. It means I'm getting 2 done at one go. I think that's smart thinking. So we're working with Lost Lagoon for this one. And it's my basic card base, which is 5.5 by 8 1/4. Scored at 4 1/8. I'm going to emboss a basic white at 4 inches and 5 3/8, I think it is. And then I have used, let me just turn around and get it. I have used this new designer series paper. It's called Snowflake Magic 12 by 12. It's Lost Lagoon and white and silver, I think it is. But I wanted to use that as a focal point again. So this is where you want your square, and then 1/4 inch, you want 4 strips of various lengths of a 1/4 inch strips. So I'm going to emboss my white with the Stars at Night hybrid folder. So let's just bring this into the machine, into the camera rather. And because it's a 3D folder, I'm using plate 1. Now what have I done with it? There we go. I'm going to do something slightly different with this one. And I'll show you in a minute what it is. So I'm putting, when you're working with this folder, you need to watch the orientation of those stars. I had them the wrong way in one of my videos. Folded side of the embossing folder facing the machine, plate 4, and then just roll it through. Okay, now what I learned as well last week or 2 weeks ago when we went to our demo 35 and 35 event was, if you mix a little bit of water and Wink Castella, just want to get everything out the way. And let me just bring a piece of my paper to protect my surface. Mix it up. And I just want to spray it lightly and check if it's sprayed. then you get, hopefully it's going to work, some glitter in your, oh yeah, I can see it. I don't know if you can see it in the camera. Probably need a lot more Winker Stella. I only put a few drops in, but I can see it. So that's a tip if you want to zhuzh up your paper. Okay, so let that get dry, and then once that is dried, we can, oh yeah, I can see the shimmer, but I definitely think it needs a little bit more Winker Stella. Now I'm going to add my triangle, oh sorry, my square, getting my geometry shapes mixed up. And I'm just going to use some glue for this. All right. And I'm aiming to cover that big star, and I'm sort of wanting an equal distance around. Now this paper is slightly damp, so I'm half expecting it to struggle a little bit until it's completely dry, which it seems to be doing. Okay, so you do just need to let it get dry. Don't be in a hurry like me. Now you're going to take your first strip of 1/4 inch strips, and you're going to bring that right up to the edge, and using the other piece as a guide, just so that you can butt it up, use your liquid glue okay, and bring it right up to the edge like that, and right up to this part here, so that you know that is exactly where it needs to be. Okay, now you can take this away because we'll use that at a later stage. Now you're going to bring this piece in and butt it up over there, so you're not using a very long piece of it, so you could get away with using it for 2 of these frames. Okay, so I'm just going to cut off an extra bit there, and now I'm going to do across there, so I'm doing exactly the same. Okay, like that, and then that piece I'll put to the side. I'm just going to bring it in like that. So the idea when you're doing these fractured cards is that these little frames are matching the base, the card base, just to give it a bit of a uniform look. Okay, then you're flipping it over and very simply just snipping it off parallel to that piece of cardstock that you've placed it on. And you can see you can use these strips for another fractured card technique card. Okay, fantastic. And now for the star on this card, I've taken the Stars at Night die, and I've die cut it out of the silver. There's a silver and a gold foil paper in the mini catalogue. I felt like I just needed something bright to offset the Lost Lagoon, and I'm just using my dimensionals. I'm popping that in the middle. All right, almost there. Last step is to do the heat emboss. So I'll just get my embossing buddy, and I'm using basic white, and the Joy and Peace comes from the night, no, it comes from Holina, I think. Oh, I can't find it right now. It comes from Night Divine. Okay, so stamping that in Versamark, nice and firm. This is my husband's favorite technique. He will tell you that he really enjoys watching when he watches my videos. He loves watching the embossing technique. So we're going to, I see there's some fibers on here. I have no idea how they got into my embossing powder. Okay, cool. And I'm just going to take that off with my brush and using my heat tool. So let me do that in front of you for my husband's benefit, seeing as he enjoys it so much. I'll just get the tweezers. Okay. So if you're watching this for the first time and you haven't watched embossing before, you're just placing your heat tool about 5 to 10 centimeters away from what you're heating up, and then you will literally see it transform in front of you. It is it is a very satisfying technique to watch because it's so quick, and it's pretty cool how it changes everything so quickly. All right, let's cut this down. I'm thinking I might have stamped this one a bit higher, so I may not necessarily get my flag fishtails. And that's okay, it can look different. Okay. And I'm putting this on dimensionals as well. I still need to try and perfect the art of making short videos. I don't know how to do those yet. I need to get myself trained to do that. Pop that on there. Pop that on your card base. And if you, like me, are whipping up like 30 odd Christmas cards at a time, this one will be a very quick one to whip up. And voila, we're done. So that card stock is still a bit damp, and I do think I would be adding a bit more Wink Stella to it. The reason I didn't want to put too much was I was like, well, am I ruining my spritzer by doing that? Not sure. I'll see if it comes clean or if it doesn't come clean. So there we've got 2 fractured cards using an embossing style. So let me quickly show you what the original card looked like of the lady that gave me her swap. So isn't that pretty? She's used, it looks like crumb cake and Night of Navy. And then I did this one as a color inspiration challenge. And there's my boo-boo. That shouldn't have gone up there. It should have gone across, and that should have come down. But I still like it. And this is for the color inspiration 153, I believe. Some really interesting colors. I just created my own background and then used Moody Mauve to just stamp directly onto the centerpiece. So there you have it. The fractured card technique, or faux shutter technique. Give me a comment below. Have you tried it? Is it also your first time? Or are you an old novice at this and you've like yawn done this before? I'd love to hear whether or not you've done this before and what you think of this technique. Do you like it or nah? Okay, I'm looking forward to seeing you back in my craft room next week. But remember, until we meet again, to stamp, eat, sleep, and repeat. Bye!